everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really cool new way to think about the cities we live in. We're looking at this idea of moving from a folded city to something way more alive, something called a fugue city.
But let's just start with this question. What if a city wasn't just a bunch of buildings and roads, but an actual piece of music? What would that even sound like? Just hold that thought for a minute.
To really dig into this, we're going to focus on one city in particular, Taipei. For a long time, people have understood it as a folded city, a place where history is kind of stacked up in visible layers.
I mean, in Taipei, you can literally see the past on almost every corner. You've got the original walled city from the Qing dynasty, right next to these grand boulevards from the Japanese era, and then all the modern projects that came later. Each new era didn't wipe the slate clean, it just built on top. It's like stacking clear sheets, each with its own unique drawing.
So yeah, that's the core concept of a folded city. History isn't just in some dusty old book. It's right there, written into the streets. You can see this cross-section of time just by walking around. It's a really powerful way to get a handle on cities with deep, complicated pasts. But there's a problem. What happens when all you do is keep stacking?
And that's the risk, right? If a city only stacks its history, it can become static, kind of frozen. It stops being this living, breathing organism and risks turning into something more like a giant, dusty warehouse for memories.
And this quote, it just hits the nail on the head. A city has to be more than a museum for its own past. Now, don't get me wrong, preserving history is absolutely vital. But if that's the only thing a city does, it stops being a place of creation. It basically stops living. So if the city isn't just a stack of historical layers, what is it? We need a new metaphor, something more dynamic. And this is where the idea of a fugue city comes in. And trust me, it completely changes the game. Okay, so what on earth is a fugue? In music, it's this incredibly intricate and beautiful type of composition. You start with one main melody, a theme. But then other melodies get introduced. And here's the key. They don't just stack up. They weave in and out. They respond to each other. They talk to each other. And they create this complex, dynamic, and totally harmonious whole. So when you put these two ideas side by side, the difference is just night and day. Instead of a static city, you get a dynamic one. Instead of just stacking layers, you have these historical and modern themes that are actively interwoven. And this is the big one. The goal isn't just memory preservation anymore. It becomes a creative dialogue between the past and the present. Let's make this real for a second. In Taipei, you have the historic North Gate. It's not just some old monument. It's a historic melody playing against the city's modern rhythm. Then you get a totally new melody, like Qifeng Street, with all its creative shops adding this fresh cultural texture. And in a place like Da稻埕, the old themes of faith and the new themes of commerce are just constantly weaving together. They're all in conversation.
And look, this isn't just some poetic idea. Seeing a city as a fugue, it's a huge shift in urban philosophy. It changes what we value and what we think a city should even be. It has a real ethical weight to it.
This new philosophy really changes everything. First, the whole focus shifts away from just possessing space to generating relationships, between people, history, and the future. And second, you go beyond just preserving memory. You start using those memories to create a new urban grammar, a whole new language for what the city is and what it could become. So what's the ultimate goal here? It's to create a city that can have a dialogue with the world. A fugue city isn't just talking to its own past anymore. It becomes so fluent in its own complex story that it can share that story with everyone, becoming a true global center for cultural creation.
So, if a city can really be a piece of music, this complex, beautiful fugue, what's the song of your city? What are its main melodies? What are the new themes popping up? And how do they all play together? It's a great question to think about. Thanks so much for watching The Explainer.